Jai Guruji, Chapter 69, page 273 to 286. Master of Life and Death. Guruji's intervention in matters of individual destiny, when he sorts out his devotees' karma to protect them from perils they are unaware of, can be highly difficult to comprehend. Also, the divine power he uses to dissolve bad karma is nothing less than his omnipotence at work, revealing the Sadguru's authorship over matters of life and death. Guruji's energy casts out evil spirit. The family of Narendra, a general electric executive now based in Ahmedabad, had been hounded by a problem. His wife had come under the possession of a powerful female spirit. Then Narendra's mother met Guruji during a New Year function at Patiala and brought home Guruji's photograph. The family tried to meet Guruji at Panchkula but could not. They went to Mansa Devi instead. Narendra meanwhile scoffed at the women's easy trust, saying they could find two gurus beneath a single brick. The family got the opportunity to meet Guruji at Chandigarh on the occasion of Shivratri. Narendra listened to a lot of satsangs and heard Guruji say that he visited the house of whosoever came to him with Shraddha, devotion. At 4:30 the next morning, those words came true. Narendra saw the bedroom door open and Guruji's shadow fall inside. Guruji also left proof of his visit. While the house was being swept, the couple saw a few gold-like wires glinting in the sun. They did not know what these wires were, but kept picking them up from the house for the next 20 days. These were wires used in the embroidery of Guruji's attire. Narendra decided to go to Guruji and went to Chandigarh on a Saturday. He told Guruji of his wife's problem, but Guruji just said, "You have been blessed." Narendra was disappointed. He wondered why the Guru had not asked him about his problem or said anything more. He had not realized till then the full power of Guruji's statements. Whatever he says inevitably comes true, and even his casual remark directs the trusting person to a safe harbor in times of trouble. Narendra then went to Guruji's birthplace at Dugri. As a memento, he brought back a brick from the house where Guruji had taken human avatar. After washing the brick, he kept it at his home shrine or puja room. At night, Narendra had a vivid dream. He saw that the female spirit who was troubling his wife had possessed him. Through his mouth, she said that she could never have been tamed, but that the single brick placed in Narendra's house was so powerful that she could not stay for even a minute and was leaving the house. The family's problem was solved, thanks to the holy brick obtained from Guruji's birthplace. That single brick was sufficient reply to Narendra's sarcastic statement that women could find two gurus beneath one brick. Try as he might, Narendra could not remember the details of his dream sequence clearly the next day. But Guruji removed the last shreds of doubt. 2-3 days later, when Narendra went to have darshan, Guruji told him, "You have been blessed through a brick, haven't you?" In his next few, always sparse sentences, Guruji also revealed the nature of a true Guru. "You don't have to tell the Guru anything," he said. "Don't bring the Guru down to that level. The Guru knows and solves your problem himself." Time and again, Guruji's words were proved right. Guruji liberates Narendra's daughter. In January of 1998, Narendra had gone to Dugri to get some dung cakes for use during festivities connected with his nephew's first Lodi. He met Mataji, Guruji's mother, who insisted that he take a sack full, but Narendra took only 5 pieces in the boot of his Maruti 800. 3 days later, Mataji was with Guruji in New Delhi and he asked her whether anyone had come to Dugri. Mataji, who did not know Narendra's name, told him that a boy with spectacles had come in a car and taken some dung cakes. Guruji asked whether a sack of dung cakes had been given and Mataji replied in the negative. Guruji then said, "Will it happen? Will it not?" He repeated the phrase twice and added, "When it happens, then I will see to it." Soon Narendra's wife conceived. When she was 8 months pregnant, Narendra asked Guruji to give him his dress to wrap the infant in. Guruji denied the request. The infant was delivered through a caesarean section. She developed an infection of the lungs on the very first day. Narendra informed Guruji and was told that everything will be okay. On the third day, however, the infant passed away. The stitches on Narendra's wife formed pus. Within 21 days, the pus developed into a sac inside her stomach. Narendra's wife was sorely grieved. She berated Guruji in front of his photograph. She had already lost her child, she bemoaned. And on top of it, she was facing this problem. Late that night, the answer came. Guruji gave darshan in her dream and instructed her to do an arti. This was to be done after 21 days. Guruji also gave her a remedy. He predicted that the pus sac would remain as it was till the 42nd day of her delivery and then go away. The grieving mother took the remedy as instructed. She performed the arti till the 21st day. Thereafter, she promptly forgot it. Soon a hole developed near her stitches and the pus passed out of it. Narendra's grief, however, had still not been assuaged. He was lighting a lamp in his home shrine when he started weeping. That night, Guruji came in the deeply distressed father's dream. He took Narendra to the grounds where Narendra had buried his little one and asked him to dig up the grave. He then asked Narendra to place the infant in his hand, which suddenly looked huge, and with his other hand, Guruji sprinkled water over the infant. She immediately cried out. Then he asked Narendra twice, "Do you want this daughter?" A stunned Narendra could not respond. Guruji revealed that had Narendra taken an entire sack of dung cakes as Mataji was insisting, these incidents would not have come to pass. The infant then would not have taken birth. Guruji explained the daughter's life had meant certain death for either of the parents. In a dream that was truer than waking reality, Narendra refused to reclaim his daughter. Guruji proceeded to grant his daughter moksha. Narendra saw a beam of light come from his daughter's form and merge into Guruji's lotus feet. Guruji said that she had caught a type of liberation that even those who did penances for thousands of years find difficult to attain. In a burial ground, due to the Guru's grace, a human soul had achieved holy liberation and extends his son's life. Akshay was an extraordinary child. Till he was a child of 3 years, his body and even his urine used to have Guruji's fragrance. One day his father Narendra showed Akshay's planetary birth chart to an astrologer. The astrologer predicted that his son's life was just 8 years. His troubled wife asked Narendra to pray hard to Guruji. It was December 2001 and Guruji was in Jalandhar. Narendra went to the temple there and apprised Guruji of the problem. Guruji reserved his comments, commenting only that astrologers take people on the wrong path. A few days later, a devotee had arranged for a function at Jalandhar. Guruji asked Narendra to attend, but the disciple said it would be difficult since he had an official meeting at Chandigarh. Guruji insisted and Narendra reached Jalandhar after his meeting at 10 p.m. Guruji was distributing prasad as he came in and gave some to Narendra. Narendra then had langar and sat down with Guruji in the hall. The Sadguru again distributed prasad and giving some to Narendra told him that he had extended his son's life. Narendra remembers Guruji telling him, "Only Rab, God can do this and God is in front of you." When the time came for Akshay to go to school, the parents filled the required forms in 3 schools. 2 of them demanded hefty donations and were rejected. In a dream, Guruji instructed Akshay to put his photograph on his dress and said he would be granted admission. On the morning of his interview at the third school, though his parents were not convinced about letting him carry Guruji's photograph for the interview, Akshay wore Guruji's photo to school. His father was worried. Out of 5,000 young applicants, only 250 had to be selected. But Akshay's faith paid off. He was fifth in the admission list and no extra money was taken for the admission, keeping Narendra out of death's way. In January of 1998, three saints came to Narendra's house. One of them started making predictions and told Narendra's mother that her eldest child should have been dead. At this, the mother called Narendra's wife out. The saint told her that this extended life, which her husband was enjoying, was due to the grace of the Mahapurush they were devoted to. The wandering astrologer then predicted that Narendra would die by Jan 30th. He promised to ward off this calamity if only the family would give them some new clothes. Narendra's wife was worried and she sent her husband off to Guruji in Delhi so that he could be under his divine protection as the date neared. Narendra was with Guruji on Jan 30th. That very night, Narendra's wife had a dream. She saw that Guruji and goddess Kali, the black one, consort of the Purusha or male principal, also known as Shiva, were together and Guruji was telling the goddess to give her blessings to the couple. The goddess had a silver stick in her hand and it was suggested that the couple put out their hands. Narendra did so and she hit his hands with the stick. But his wife was afraid and refused. Guruji said that with the strike of the stick, he had cut Narendra's bad karma. He told Narendra's wife that what she was witnessing was not a dream but real. At this point, his wife woke up. She saw that Guruji's photo kept in the home shrine had changed color. Whereas Guruji's attire used to be a deep red in the photo, it was now black, the color of Kali. After 5 minutes, the color changed back to red, washing away the handprints of death. The gate to the family's house in Ludhiana had the imprint of 2 hands. Narendra's wife suspected something was amiss and sent her mother-in-law to the Naina Devi temple. While she was away, she set about washing the house to clear the imprints from the cement wall. She tried rubbing the prints off with her hands. By night, her hand was paining a great deal and had swollen. In another 4 days, the left limb was paralyzed. Doctors started her on medicines and enjoined her to do exercises. Narendra was stationed at Jalandhar. He came to know of the paralysis affecting his wife and wanted to go home. But his wife phoned him up and told him not to worry. As usual, Guruji had taken care of things. She related that she had been making her complaints known to Guruji before his photograph. Those under his refuge are immune to all grief. She had protested. Why was she suffering? Hardly had she addressed her complaint that the omniscient Guru materialized before her. Easing the shock of his sudden appearance, he sat down on the couple's bed. He told her that the imprints had meant the death of the mother-in-law and he had converted it to a mere paralysis of the hands. Guruji rubbed his devotee's affected hand and instructed her to move it. When she could not, he rubbed her hands again and repeated the instruction. Immediately she was able to move her hands. The paralysis had vanished. Guruji had advised her to get her mother-in-law to pour water on his photo and splash the holy water thus obtained on the imprints on the wall. As soon as the drops of holy water hit the imprints, they changed from brown to red. Guruji said, "You have been blessed." Invited to Nainital and made to study. There were plans for Guruji and the Sangat to go to Nainital in June 2002. Narendra's wife wondered whether Guruji would ask their family to go along with him. Narendra told his wife that neither was he an old Sangat member nor among the rich, so Guruji might not invite them. He was soon to find out how wrong he was. In Guruji's Sangat, no distinctions are observed, and before him and his regal majesty, all are poor. He is the sole giver, the rest, no matter what their worldly status, are beggars. Within 2 or 3 days, Guruji asked Narendra to come to Delhi for urgent work. When he reached Delhi and had langar, Guruji invited him to the Nainital trip. When Narendra returned, he told his wife that Guruji had, out of mere formality, asked them and he would not remember their names. But 3 days before the trip, Guruji called him and invited him, instructing him to take along woolen clothes. Guruji had responded to Narendra's doubts. Narendra says, he knows everything about your life, what you have done, what you think. In Nainital, Guruji asked Narendra to go for a postgraduate diploma degree. Narendra said it was not possible for him to start studying after a decade's gap. Guruji again told him to enroll for the degree. Narendra entered a diploma course but was not sure whether he would pass. During the examination, he asked Guruji to write the answers. He cleared the diploma in 2 years with the blessings of Guruji and hastened to give Guruji the news. Guruji wondered why Narendra was going to the trouble of telling him. After all, he said, it was he who had given the papers and cleared the exams. Thanks to Guruji, Narendra began studying for the MBA. Everyone is blessed. Guruji takes you under his refuge as you are. The past does not matter before the Satguru. He requires no pious ejaculations of faith. An honest self-examination would serve better. For the Guru is the last person to be deluded. The Satguru does not distinguish among men between the virtuous and the sinful, the good and the wicked, leave alone the poor and the rich. His protective umbrella covers you, your family, friends and relatives. But to be truly in tune with the Satguru, to be one with him in spirit, no matter where you are, requires that the disciple disarm his ego and surrender himself. Then the Guru charts the disciple's course over the stormy waters of life himself. He saves the disciple from the malicious currents of his bad karma in the way he deems fit. Narendra's brother Sunil was also an avid devotee of Lord Shiva and had gone to Amarnath on a pilgrimage with Narendra before. He made another pilgrimage to Amarnath in June of 2005. There was a landslide and their bus was trapped on a sliver of land edged by deep ravines. Sunil remembered Guruji, took out his photo, poured water over it and scattered the holy water in the direction from where the landslide was hurtling down. The rocks stopped falling. All lives were saved. Later, when Sunil came to pay obeisance to Guruji in New Delhi, the master said, "Tell the Sangat the latest experience. Didn't I have to save everybody to save your life?" This was not the first time Guruji had forestalled fate from cutting short Sunil's life. Around year 2000, Sunil had been operated on for an appendix. But after he went under the knife, Sunil could not urinate. A serious matter. He also endured agonizing abdominal pain. Doctors diagnosed that he was not passing urine due to tension and gave him Valium tablets of 2 mg dose. They did not help. When Sunil went to Guruji in Chandigarh, he was made to have at least 17 cups of tea and 2 langar meals. As he was ready to leave, Guruji made him have another cup of tea. Since Sunil was protesting this rather large intake of fluids, Guruji made him drink it in front of him and then said he would be okay. Outside, and almost immediately, Sunil urinated for the next 10 minutes. Since that day, the appendix problem has not bothered him. Guruji's blessed cups of tea did what doctor's tablets could not. In 1997, a relative's daughter, Madhu, fell ill. She had some nervous problems and her abdomen had been paralyzed. She was Guruji's devotee and expressed her desire to have Guruji's darshan before going in for medical treatment. She was brought to Chandigarh and seated outside the hall near a window from where she could have his darshan. Madhu cried and prayed that she would get prasad. Testing her faith, the Guru gave her prasad, the last. He also told her parents to get her admitted to the Rajinder Hospital in Patiala. Within 2 weeks there, her condition improved. Madhu returned from hospital and went for Guruji's darshan. She still had a bottle attached to her. Guruji got it removed. The doctors were surprised. Patients in her ward had shown no improvement, while she was ready to be discharged in 3 weeks. The divine healing power obtained through the darshan had again done its work. Yet another time, Guruji's grace fell on a relative of Narendra's. Guruji's langar used to come from Maler Kotla while he was in Chandigarh. A few families had been entrusted with the task of preparing the langar, and Narendra's mami, maternal aunt, ardently wished to send some chapatis she had made to Guruji. The day after she had expressed the wish, a crippled beggar came to her door. He asked her for some food, but she refused. The beggar then revealingly said, "Last night you were talking of langar, now you can't even give tea." Narendra's aunt remained oblivious to the hint. However, she brought the stranger a cup of tea and 2 laddus. The beggar told her she could ask him for anything, but she denied the offer, saying her guru had given her everything. The beggar immediately replied with, "Kalyan hoga, you are blessed." The aunt went inside, leaving the beggar to eat his meal in peace. She returned to find that the beggar had left and only the glass was there. The sudden disappearance, beggars usually badger householders for money, let her intuit that the beggar was none other than Guruji. Even non-believers feel his grace. In January of 2004, Guruji's father fell ill at Dugri and the master sent Narendra to look after him. He was shown at the Maler Kotla Civil Hospital. The attending doctor Gurvinder was told about Guruji, but he could not be less interested. Guruji told Narendra to have satsang for an hour with Dr. Gurvinder, but the doctor refused. Guruji then asked Narendra to get an appointment with the doctor. During Narendra's talk with Dr. Gurvinder, the man of medicine refused to have any truck with the supernatural and said everything was explainable through science. Guruji was, however, persisting with the doctor. He asked Narendra to ask the doctor to come to Delhi. He refused, but came anyhow, for as Providence would have it, an official meeting was scheduled to be held in Delhi. The doctor came to the Sangat for 2 consecutive days and then Guruji sent him back, telling him he would reach Maler Kotla in 5 hours. Though the time for the journey is usually 7-8 hours, the doctor was astonished to reach his destination in Guruji's appointed time. In Delhi, Guruji asked Narendra to call the doctor up. The omniscient Sadguru told the disciple to ask the doctor about his daughter's welfare. When Narendra asked the reason for doing so, Guruji revealed that the doctor's daughter had a mental problem. Narendra did as told. The doctor too asked him why he was concerned about his daughter. Narendra told him what Guruji had said, and the doctor then admitted that his daughter's problem had been cured by 85% after he had returned from Guruji's Sangat in Delhi. His daughter had healed even though the doctor had stubbornly refused to believe in any supernatural power. Next week, the man of medicine came from Guruji's darshan. Soon his daughter was fully cured. As Narendra began to be with Guruji, he was lucky enough to have a few spiritual experiences. They not only showed him flashes of Guruji's cosmic being, they also impacted his spiritual practices and development. These experiences also serve to illustrate the rare occasions when the Sadguru would give out a spiritual gem for the devotee's practice and observance. In the Amarnath cave, I am Shiva. Narendra had been a devotee or bhakt of Lord Shiva since childhood. He was fond of telling his rosary beads and going for the pilgrimage to Amarnath, the holy cave where Shivji manifests in the form of linga made of ice. After he had gone to meet Guruji, he had gone for yet another pilgrimage to the sacred spot with his younger brother Sunil. As he was standing in the queue of people going into the cave, Narendra fell into rumination. The entire scene of Guruji's darbar or spiritual court passed before his eyes. Lots of cups of tea would greet visitors. Devotional songs or shabads would steep the hall in holiness. Then langar would come to appease appetites, and later amazing tales of faith would be recounted. The late evening would turn into a thanksgiving to the Divine Father with Punjabi folk songs or old songs and ghazals playing in the background. At the Shiva cave, Narendra, thinking over the scene, was forced to ask Guruji, "Who are you?" Hardly had he uttered the words that a beam of light came out of the Shiv Langa, expanding to about a foot in height. Within this light, Narendra saw the figure of Lord Shiva, which changed to Guruji's and then switched places again. A voice echoed in Narendra's inner ear, "I am Shiva, I am everything." The cave was suddenly full of Guruji's fragrance. Narendra's younger brother Sunil could also smell it. On the same day, in her Ludhiana home at night, Narendra's wife dreamt of Guruji. She saw Guruji with a trishul in hand atop with Nandi bull, the vehicle of Lord Shiva. Within 3 months of going to Guruji, Narendra says, the master had shown the disciple his true form, Shiva himself. Guruji proclaimed his identity on another occasion. Narendra and his family had gone to see Shivlanga near Samrala. Narendra's wife insisted he go again on Monday to offer his devotion to Lord Shiva with milk and other offerings. Narendra did not agree. He said Guruji is Lord Shiva and Shivlanga for him. That very night his wife dreamt she was sitting in front of Guruji at Empire Estate. She gave a letter to Guruji. He immediately stood up and went to his room and came back with his photograph. It was a beautiful photograph, but it disappeared within a few seconds. Immediately an Om appeared on the photograph, and within a few seconds a Shivlanga manifested from the Om. She asked Guruji about it. Guruji told her to look at the photograph again, and she saw Guruji sitting in the Shivlanga. She was confused. Guruji then told her she did not have to go anywhere else because she had come to him. "If you come to my place," Guruji said, "you don't need to go anywhere else because I am God. Your heartbeats will stop." Once Guruji was lying down and doing part while a couple of devotees pressed his lotus feet and massaged his body. One devotee got tired and asked Narendra to come in instead of him. Narendra did so gladly. He had just touched Guruji's feet when he was asked to identify himself. Narendra gave his name and was told to strongly massage the master's leg. A while later, Guruji asked Narendra to shift his focus to the soles of his feet, which he said were burning a lot and needed to be pressed hard. After 10 minutes or so, Narendra was asked to put all his might into massaging Guruji's soles. He did so. The thumbs of the Sadguru's feet began squirting Amrit. roseate nectar, just like a cow's udders give milk. The area within a foot's radii of Guruji's feet became wet. Guruji addressed Narendra. Have you seen now who the Guru is? My entire body is full of Amrit. Similarly, when Narendra asked Guruji for the darshan of the Sadguru's true nature, he was gently turned away. Guruji explained that he is like a 14,000-watt wire and the disciples akin to a 0-watt bulb. If you touch me, you will be annihilated. Guruji said, I am Shiva, your heartbeats will stop. With time, I will give you the eyes to see me. Rosary beads broken with shafts of life. Some of Guruji's sayings pertain to individual spiritual practices as well, though he gave such advice rarely. It is Guruji's counsel that telling the beads inflates the ego of a spiritual practitioner. Now, Narendra had been fond of this spiritual practice since childhood. One morning, as he was telling the mala in his puja room, he fell into a trance or samadhi. He was transported to the Bade Mandir in New Delhi. He found himself sitting inside the hall in the lotus posture, his mala lying in front of him. Guruji was seated in his asana to the left, and Lord Shiva's brass idol had taken a human form. A shaft of light from Shiva's hands and another shaft from Guruji's hands fell on Narendra's rosary and shattered it. At that moment, Narendra came out of his trance. He was seated in his Ludhiana room, and when he picked up his rosary, he found that it was broken. From that day, Narendra stopped telling the rosary. He now follows Guruji's recommendation that part can be done any time. No rosary is required, and there is no special time to remember God. He can be remembered while eating, drinking, walking, cooking, food, lying down, or while working at home or in the office. In fact, according to Guruji, the true test of the spiritual trance or a samadhi lies in the devotee's transcendental union with God. If such a union is there, the adept can be immersed in samadhi even while loud music assails the environment and his body is subjected to discomfort. Bade Mandir, where the Ganga herself will come. On another occasion, Guruji told Narendra and his family to stay at the Bade Mandir or Shiv Mandir for a few days. During their stay, Narendra and another devotee were giving final touches to their polishing work on Shivji's brass idol kept inside the hall. Narendra noticed Amrit coming out of his lord's feet. He cleaned the distinctively wet spot, but the wet oozing patch reappeared. The devotee with Narendra said it could not be happening. He suggested that Narendra must not have polished using a cleaner brasso the patch properly. Immediately a wet patch of Amrit appeared there too. The devotee's realization was just as immediate. Narendra had gone to the Shiv Mandir in December 1998 for the first time. Guruji had shown him and other devotees around the place. The group noticed that one half of the linga was wet. They wondered whether this was due to rain. Guruji, however, said Amrit was raining on the linga. He also predicted that the river Ganga herself would come and bathe this linga with milk. The linga, Guruji said, would be preeminent among the 12 Jyotir lingas in India, and those wishes that were not granted there would be granted here. A week after Guruji's statement, a devotee, R.P. Singla, had a prophetic dream darshan. He saw the Ganga bathing the Shivlanga at the temple. See Radha Krishna in him too. The family had been planning to go to Vrindavan and Mathura, the pilgrimage centers of Lord Vishnu's devotees, in year 2006. But try as they might, they just couldn't get away, and their plans were defeated as recently as April of 2006. Around this time, when the family had come to Delhi for celebrating Baisakhi at the Bade Mandir, Guruji gave one of his dream darshans to Narendra's wife, asking her to press his lotus feet in the dream. As she was doing so, an idol of Lord Krishna emerged from the Sadguru's feet. Guruji told her to just place the idol on his stomach. As soon as she did so, it disappeared inside. Guruji then went to his room, and Narendra's wife saw the room change into a temple. A Radha Krishna photograph was inside the room. The devotee who had desired to go to Vrindavan to see the Krishna idol asked Guruji about the photo, and he said, "Did you have darshan? No need to go to Vrindavan, everything is here." Narendra also narrates an incident in which the Sadguru proclaimed his true identity. In a dream, Narendra was taken to a hall. Guruji called him and pulled his ears thrice, then touched him on the point between the eyebrows thrice with his own fingers. Guruji then said, "Kalyan ho gaya, you have been blessed." After a few days, Narendra found the sacred Om and the figure of Shishanaga scratched at the locket of Guruji that he always wore. The Om and the Shishanaga can still be seen on the locket. Narendra mentioned the incident to Guruji. The Sadguru replied, "Only God can do this. Can anyone call himself God? I am God." And so indeed he is. His form, though, is mysterious and wondrous. Narendra tells of a time when Guruji gave him his jutis as a blessing. The disciple says he found that the jutis were of 3 sizes, 6, 7, and 8, and they were all being worn by the same person. Many devotees have also noticed the scarcely changing features of their master. This mastery over the physical form can only be attributed to one who is above Maya, who has won over nature, who is in fact her Lord, who is Shiva, the one who has no beginning, middle, or end, the one who was born before time, and the one who has manifested in the form of Guruji to bless mankind. He takes care of his devotees with love, never making them feel worthless, and ever prompting them to discover the divinity of their souls. Satsang, as narrated of Narendra Dhand.